beast. I didn't realize she...
So the reason I started MotorHeadMen is my whole life I've run into really cool stories. Guys always have a story. Whether it's a racetrack story, a particular car story, or how they got into cars, their passion overwhelmed me. My whole life of car shows and talking with guys, and I'm talking all the way back into when I was 12 and 13 years old, with my dad in military jeeps and men that were passionate about military vehicles. So with Larry, he's delivering newspapers around his neighborhood, and there's a guy out there working on a Chevelle. So he stops by, and the guy's talking to him, young kid enthused in an old muscle car. This is back in the 70s. And Larry just fell in love with his car. Well, eventually Larry got to take a ride in his car. Scared the living hell out of me, told me. It impressed him. And he just fell in love with the body, the interior, the motor setup, the whole thing. It was a 454 Chevelle. So, that's how Larry got into it. And eventually, after Larry went into the military and got his second Chevelle, that one particular Chevelle from his neighborhood was actually sold to Reggie Jackson. It's actually in the Reggie Jackson collection, whatever. And it was a super rare Chevelle, and Reggie bought it, and the local newspaper did an article on it. You'll see a picture of that pop up. So it's always cool the way these guys, learn to fall into the passion of these cars and whatever it is they're doing. So, but anyway, now I want to take a minute here. This is my second take on this particular video. I want to take a minute here and thank Larry and Helen. Larry loved everything I did in restoring the car and getting it painted. He wasn't sure of my ability with an LS because I'd never touched an LS. I've seen them, I've heard about them. You see all the horsepower they're putting out, it's amazing. But I'd never touched an LS. Now this eBay package came, he wasn't positive about giving me this job. He finally decided to give it to me. You've seen all the things, and I want to tell you, Larry and Helen, I really appreciate you giving me this job and giving me the ability or the chance to do this for you. I taught myself a few things. I had a great time doing it. Yeah, I know, guys. Larry, we stumbled with FiTech a little bit, but that was okay. We learned more stuff, didn't we, bud? So, Larry and Helen, thank you so much for giving me this job, and I'm just as tickled with this job as you are. And Mr. Larry, I love hearing your voice on the phone when you call me and tell me how excited you are. He called me one day and told me how he finally let Helen drive it. This is his wife. He said he was never going to let her drive it. Too much horsepower. And there is. This car is fast. That LS is really fast. But he called me and told me to let Helen drive the car. And Helen was so excited to drive it. It was great to hear the passion in your voice about you and her sharing that experience together. So again, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity on the car, and I'm so tickled to death that you're happy with it. I hope you enjoyed the clip of Larry's passion to build. I had a great time working with Larry and Helen, and it's with a great deal of sadness in my heart and soul that since I started putting these videos out, Mr. Larry's passed on. Mr. Larry was a very dear friend and a colleague. When you work with somebody for 40 hours a week, 8 years, you learn a lot about somebody. And me and Larry had become very good friends and muscle car buddies. He was a great mechanic. I can't say enough about Mr. Larry. Stand-up guy, 23 years in the Air Force, Master Sergeant. He was very well respected, and he's going to be very much missed. I'm glad to hear that Miss Helen's going to keep the car. She's gonna keep it alive. She's not gonna sell it, and I can't believe it's happened that fast. I released the first video of his on last Friday, and Saturday morning, Mr. Larry passed of a heart attack, and it's very sad that I have to say this. And hell of a guy, hell of a mechanic. We're losing a lot of the old school motorheads. and that's a shame. Mr. Larry is more than just a motorhead. He was a mechanic, a stand-up guy, and I had a great deal of respect for the man. So it's again with a heavy heart that I have to say, God bless you, Larry. Godspeed. I hope you're up there in heavens racing Chevelles with all your old buddies and your brother. You're going to be sadly missed down here, and it's a shame I'm not going to have my colleague who pushed me to do this YouTube channel, who pushed me to do a lot of things, and was right there in my corner when I needed help. And he criticized the hell out of me. That's why I'm tickled to death that he got to see the first video, and he texted me that night. He said, "I loved it, very well done, and you're going in the right direction, Bill." And then 12 hours later, he's gone. So great guy, will be missed. Glad to see the Chevelle's going to stay alive and not just sold off to another person. Stay tuned for more Motorhead Men, guys. Thanks for tuning in.